the lack of men's fiction and male writers is going pretty viral everywhere at this point. We've been beating this drum for a little bit, just causing the mainstream fantasy and science fiction publishing establishment to fail over the last 20 years. They've really lost a lot of their readership, and the reason is because those are traditionally men's genres. Like the women's lit is already 80% of the publishing industry, maybe more, and because of that, they tried to get into the men's eras of science fiction and fantasy, and they kind of took it over by just turning it into romance, but just with, fantasy skin. And so as they did so, they began to take all these jobs as editors, as publishers, etc. You can't find any space that's for men anymore. And it's really, really sad as we get into fiction. And so this is pretty interesting because this went viral, and there's also another video that went viral on X about just what's going on in Target bookstores as well. So looking at these two together, you can paint a picture of just how dismal the market is, which we're going to get into in just a moment. So please hit the like and subscribe button and join us here as we talk about the real fantasy news. We're not shilling like Daniel Green out there for the mainstream media. It's a train wreck out there. There's not a lot to celebrate, but there is a lot going on in independent fiction, which we're going to be boosting up, guys, and we're going to be building this year. It's 2025. It's time we take fantasy and science fiction back from those who tried to destroy it, and I'm doing so by creating my own fiction as well. This is The Demon's Eye. It's a fantasy novel. It's classic fantasy in that sword and sorcery vein. You're going to absolutely love this. I wrote this with you in mind. It's got a strong male lead. He rescues a princess. He has to go fight a great evil. This is what you've always been looking for that they won't deliver anymore. So it's in the description below. We had a great launch week, guys. Thank you so much for making us a tremendous success. And again, would love for you to start reading here. It's $4.99, easy for the weekend. Appreciate you being here. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting article right here. It's easy enough to trace the decline of young white men in American letters. Just browse the New York Times notable fiction list. In 2012, they included 7 white American men, and today there were 6. And in 2014, there were 6, right? And now the door is shut. In 2021, there was not one white male millennial in notable fiction list. They don't do it at all. There were none again in 2022, and one apiece in 2023 and 2024. There were no white male millennials featured in Vulture's 2024 year-end fiction list, none in Vanity Fair's, none in Atlantic's Esquire. The magazine, ostensibly geared towards male millennials, had featured 53 millennial fiction writers on its year-end book list since 2020. Only one was a white American man. Very crazy. Over the course of the 2010s, the literary pipeline for white men is effectively shut down. Now, this is what's happened, guys. There was a big author that actually got kind of savaged for this, saying that out there, agents were saying they would not even accept any manuscripts from white males. They're just not interested. And they do this intentionally. They're trying to push the diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff. And this is all coming from New York Publishing. This New York Publishing is the liberal establishment. Of course, you see it all the time. Michelle Obama gets like this like $1 book deal, who's never written a book in his life, because I think he's a dude. And on top of this, like you just see how they blacklist everybody who doesn't have their views. Science fiction writer Nick Cole saw this the hard way when he wanted to put a anti-abortion message into one of his books. They told him no, and then that was the end of his publishing contract, just because he was trying to stand up for Christian values. Now, this is the type of thing that if you don't have your values, you are just gone. It's so crazy on the left that a YA author who's a part of the establishment told me that when she was coming out with her first book, you were required to go out and virtue signal for Hillary Clinton in 2016. This is, it's gotten even worse since this point. But back then, even if you were a Democrat voter and on the left and all this, if you were just saying, I want Bernie, which she was at the time, because otherwise she wouldn't be published at all, she was getting threatened by publishers out there because it was her turn. And it's time for a woman president, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. This feminist agenda, the DEI agenda, the LGBTQ agenda, it's all the way through things. In fact, I've heard another YA agent talk to me and said that a lot of publishers are not accepting any books unless it has a black or indigenous lead who's also gay in the young adult sections, right? So this is very crazy. What's going on. So this is an interesting article right here, and it goes absolutely crazy. What this has done is just destroyed literature over the last 10 years. And because of this, you can see what they have in bookstores, right? So author John A. Douglas, who wrote a wonderful fantasy book, if you want to check this out, it's called The Black Crown. Excellent stuff right here. Went to a Target, and he just turned on his phone, and and showed what was going on with this situation right here. And you could see, boom, all this chicklet. And this is what he says. Happened to be in a Target, decided to check on the fantasy section. No male-centric fantasy. He said last year, at least Dune was there because the movie was coming out, but nothing else. Now it's all book talk slop, he says. And you could see there's nothing. It's Sarah J. Maas. It's like a whole Sarah J. Maas section. There's Suzanne Collins with the Hunger Games, Elle Kennedy with this stuff. And you can see there's just nothing there. Rebecca Yarros, of course, all the way around things. This is all pornography that's labeled as fantasy, by the way. It's absolutely disgusting what these women are pushing. And he went further because he actually then showed one of these. This is in a bookstore on Target. Look at this. It's called Tampa by Alyssa Nutting. Alyssa Nutting, I'm sure that's a real name. And look, it's an attempt. I know it's a button, but it's an attempt to look like a vagina on the cover, let's be honest. And this is what they're trying to do because they got away with making their smut so mainstream they can put books out about older women seducing minors on the shelf, and that's what this is about. This is what you get when the publishing industry is run by 80% women. Disgusting. Here it is. Celeste Price is 26 years old, beautiful, smart, married to a handsome man with money, starting a new job as a junior high teacher. She harbors a dark secret. She's driven by a singular sexual obsession, 14-year-old boys. What the heck? Ew. Like what? This is like this is what you've got in Target of all places. Like this is the mainstream of the mainstream. What the hell is going on here? Why is this happening? Men have been forced out. It's been very, very intentional. The people in charge are anti-men. They're misandrous. Yeah, look up that word. And they always have been. I actually called out this in science fiction and fantasy back in 2017 because there is a short fiction market in science fiction and fantasy, and there's a lot of magazines that come out monthly on the stands. They're still in Barnes & Noble. You can find them there, believe it or not. And of those monthly and bi-monthly magazines that are regular, I counted them all up. And they always said, like the people in charge of these things, we need more women writers. We need more women in science fiction fantasy. It's a male-dominated thing. And if you look at it, there were more women than men published. Now, I actually emailed a couple of the editors at the time, and the editors said that the amount of submissions from men versus women was 20 to 30 times the amount of the females. So they were choosing females at a rate of, if it's 50-50, a lot higher than men, not more than 20 to 30 times, because they're getting more slots published than the men were even in 2017. It's only gotten worse since then. They're basically blacklisting men unless you've got some weird gay sort of fetish sort of thing going on at this juncture. It's crazy. And so that's what's happening all across fantasy. Now, when I published that article and I showed the stats and the numbers behind it, which were true, real numbers, the people in charge of the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association, which is a literary organization meant to help writers, went out and lambasted me personally. They called it egregious stupidity. Did not talk about the numbers. They didn't invalidate it. They didn't say it was wrong, but they just lambasted me personally, these people in a publishing establishment. And that's how much they're willing to take control. That's what they're trying to do to maintain control over this stuff, because it's all fake. This is all just a propped up industry that is just complete smut and garbage at this point, and it's been running rampant for a long, long time. So there is a difference. There's, of course, independent fiction out there like The Black Crown here, like my Demon's Eye, science fiction and fantasy right here. And that's the only spots you can go. I did a article on this last weekend that there's military science fiction, there's like lit RPGs, there's men's adventure fiction. That's about all you get at this juncture. And it's all independent. So you have to find independent authors that you love, whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, or hopefully everybody. It'd be great. We'd appreciate it. And this is where we need to go, because we need to start building this stuff and building our new establishment here on our own, a parallel economy. And that's what I'm trying to do. Part of what we're doing here is building something. So we're going to be doing stuff to help the entire industry and help the male writers out there that are pushing better agendas than this stuff this year. There's a couple things I want you to do to join our community, which is to, one, get on my newsletter, which is in the description below, because I'm going to be giving out some instructions to do some things in a few months. And if we all get on board on this, we can make changes. It's going to happen. On top of that, I have a Discord community, which is also in the description below. That way you can connect with us, and we talk books in there and the like. We strategize. It's good stuff. And then 3, of course, check out and read the books, because that's the most important thing you can do. The more that the books get read, the more that word of mouth gets out there, the more that you share this stuff on social media so that people see it, we can make real changes in the industry, and that's what we're trying to do. So thank you so much. What do you think about this? Do you think this is a crisis and we should be all hands on deck at this point? Leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you. Please check out The Demon's Eye in the description below. I appreciate it, everybody who's reading, and appreciate everybody who's read so far. Thank you so much. Leave a review if you have read it already. That helps with social proof on Amazon as well. We'll be back soon.